Okay, so welcome everybody to Nutri Talks on nutrient recycling in the Baltic Sea region. I'm Elsi Kauppinen. I'm from the EU SPSR, EU Baltic Sea, EU Strategy for the Baltic Sea region policy area Nutri. So the coordinator for that, and we have two other coordinators from PA Bioeconomy, Leena and Torfi, if you want to say hi.
Hi, everybody. I am Leena Anttila from Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry of Finland, and I'm one of the coordinators in PA Bioeconomy, especially in nutrient recycling in agriculture. Thank you.
Yeah, good to meet you all. Torfi Johannesson, and I've been working with PA Bioeconomy for quite a few years now, and a lot of the time in close cooperation with PA Nutri and with Elsi. Good to be with you.
Nice to have you here. So, yeah, just a couple of words about the EU SPSR. It's a strategy that started maybe a bit more than 10 years ago. In Save the Sea topic, we have other policy areas on top of Nutri and bioeconomy. We have hazards, ship, safe, and so on. Basically, the strategy covers quite a lot of topics from different aspects of the society. Kind of the main idea for the whole strategy is to increase cooperation around the Baltic Sea, and with that kind of help achieve different goals, and also can decrease overlapping work and such things. For today, we are discussing nutrient recycling. We will have results from ongoing projects and one project that already ended, Lex 4 Bio. But on top of that, we have also experiences from the Finnish national funding for nutrient recycling innovations. I think it has been, I got the 12 years from somewhere, but I'm not certain about it, but yeah, quite many years already. And also experiences from one Finnish hotspot area here in southwest Finland. And after that, we will have also business example, chance for questions, a couple of speeches from funding organizations, and chance to ask questions both before the lunch and after the lunch. So we can probably get started with the first presentation. That would be Sari Luostarinen, if she's online.
Yes, I'm here.
Nice.
I can share my presentation from here, hopefully.
Yeah.
Let's see that it works. Can you see it?
Can you put it to presentation mode?
Yeah,
also?
Trying to at the moment. No, yes.
Yeah, how it works. Good, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am Sari Luostarinen from the Natural Resources Institute Finland, or LUKE, as we call it in short. And I have been working with nutrient recycling, manure-related issues, and different processing technologies to modify nutrient-rich biomasses into fertilizer products for quite some time already. And I'll talk to you about the state of play in the Baltic Sea region and give you some very preliminary results of our mapping of side streams, and then go shortly over the Baltic Sea regional nutrient recycling strategy and what it contains. So the starting point is that we are trying to recycle nutrients back into agriculture. And why do we need the nutrients in agriculture are that they are essential for the yield capacity of the different crops. So we need them to get high enough yields, but we are also paying for them, so they require financial input, and due to losses, they pose a risk for the environment. So there are many things that need to be considered simultaneously when using nutrients in agriculture. The fertilization needs to be optimized for the yield level targeted and according to the conditions on the field and which crop is being produced. And excess fertilization would increase the risk for losses and also obviously be costly for the farmer, while too low fertilization reduces the yield unnecessarily, and that is also not a good thing. So optimization is important. And the different nutrients behave differently in soil and also while managing the fertilizers. Phosphorus binds into the soil particles and forms a storage in the soil, and thus it can be that the farmer doesn't need to apply phosphorus on the fields every year, that there is enough in the soil already. But nitrogen has to be added annually. And while it can also be present in its organic form in the soil, the farmer cannot be sort of certain that it is mineralized and released for the crops at the perfect timing. So that is why it also needs to be added yearly. And depending on the type of the nitrogen fertilizer, there might be also volatile ammonium nitrogen in it. So then you have to think about the gaseous emissions and how to reduce them. But in any case, nutrients can be added as mineral fertilizer products or recycled fertilizer products. And today we are talking about this recycled part. And nutrient recycling really is an integral part of circular economy. It means that we do our best to recover and reuse the different nutrient-rich side streams from human activities that all of us produce when consuming different products. The aim is to reduce overall nutrient use so that we replace part of the mineral fertilizers with the recycled products, and that reduces the need for mineral nutrient sources and also the need for converting atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia. That also has an impact on the environment. And at the same time, we pay attention to reducing nutrient losses into the environment. And the main nutrients that we often think about when talking about nutrient recycling are phosphorus and nitrogen, but also potassium, micronutrients, and organic matter are of interest. But today I am mostly talking about phosphorus and nitrogen. So the different nutrient-rich side streams for recycling purposes come from the different sectors of human activities. They are often of organic origin, but they also may be in organic form, like for instance from mining procedures. But I am also focusing on the organic side streams now. From agriculture, livestock manure is traditionally used as a fertilizer already, but we can manage it more effectively and recycle it more effectively. Agricultural side streams also come from plant production. We can maybe also harness some of the straw. There are vegetable tops and such like, excess silage or other biomasses from like fallow lands, and energy crops can also become a part of nutrient recycling if they are used, though their use is limited for sustainability reasons. from municipalities, we get bio-waste from households, hospitals, schools, food stores, and so on, and then sewage sludge from the municipal wastewater treatment plants. Obviously, there is also a lot of nutrients in the original wastewater, but at the moment, the system for treating the wastewaters mean that we are mostly currently talking about recycling the sludge and not all the nutrients originally in the wastewater. And then there are various side streams from industries, and especially from food processing industry, there are many different types of nutrient-rich side streams. The spatial variation in the availability of and the need for recyclable nutrients vary a lot. The side streams are rarely located directly in the place where the nutrients are also needed. So there is always some kind of a need for transportation. For instance, livestock and crop production are nowadays in most countries quite segregated and also located in different regions. That meaning that livestock manure is regionally concentrated, and there may be too much of it in some regions for the nutrient need of that same region. And then active industries are often close to larger human settlements where also the municipal waste streams are produced. So also those side streams need to be somehow made available to the regions where the actual agricultural production happens. And here you can see a map that we made in the Lexpo Bio project that you will hear more about later in today. We are now currently working on making this a bit better as in the resolution for the Baltic Sea region area. But to go to the transportation need, processing technologies can be used to make the side streams more effectively transported. And the technologies are used for separating nitrogen and phosphorus into different fractions so that they can be used with more precision, as they are not in one single product. The idea is to concentrate the nutrients into smaller volumes as well, so that the transportability is better and also reduces the requirement, for instance, for storage capacity, as you have less of the material to be stored and applied on field. Depending on the technology used, you might be able to also produce renewable energy at the same time. And you can see an example here as a Sankey chart of biogas production and subsequent post-processing of the digestate into more concentrated fertilizer products. One very important thing during these processing technologies is that the safety of the products for the use on the farms is ensured, and that should be paid attention to very effectively. And at the same time, one can also pay attention to recycling of organic matter, which we want to also get back to the field soil so that their structure and condition is maintained. And here is a very difficult table probably to look, and don't look into the exact numbers too much, but this is a very, very preliminary result from the data mapping of nutrient-rich side streams in the Synergy project, which you also will be hearing more about today later. this is made with the very basic method of using mainly Eurostat-based databases that we created in the Lexpo Bio project. And we are currently working on trying to get more detailed data from national data sources, and that mapping is still ongoing. We will have some additional biomasses from, for example, the food production industry added here, and potentially there are national coefficients for the nutrient content of these different side streams, as they may differ from country to country. And also we are trying to get a better spatial resolution so that we can better identify where there are potential regions of too much, especially phosphorus for the fertilization need of that same region. So later on, we will give you more information on this. But for the Baltic Sea region, it is really obvious that the most of the recyclable nitrogen and phosphorus are in livestock manure. And then there are some in the animal byproducts, sewage sludge, municipal biowaste, and additionally in the different other industrial side streams that we are still currently trying to map. And here you need to realize that for the nitrogen in the livestock manure, this is calculated with a nitrogen coefficient for nitrogen excretion. So during manure management, some of that nitrogen is lost as ammonia evaporation. But we have some preliminary conclusions also about the data needs for such mapping of the potential for nutrient recycling in the Baltic Sea region. There are a lot of data gaps in this work. The statistics have not been sort of made for this kind of data collection, and especially the sufficient spatial resolution is a challenge. We often have data for the whole country and not for the different regions. And even if we have like NUTS2 region level, that is very different for the different countries. Like for Estonia, it is the whole country. For Finland, it's 5 regions, and so on. We will also be potentially struggling with comparison of nutrient need in fertilization and the potential for nutrient recycling, because to be able to make it in a very exact way, we'd need soil phosphorus data, statistics on crops produced on the fields, choice of fertilization limit, and so on. And if we just compare to the area of agricultural land, that is too simplified. But we are working on this in the Synergy project. As an example, in Finland, we have been trying to do this, these comparisons and data mappings for a while now. And according to the most recent estimate that we made in Luke, 90% of the phosphorus fertilization required in the Finnish agriculture could be covered with phosphorus in the nutrient-rich side streams available in Finland. And the largest part of this is in livestock manure. But at the same time, quite a lot of mineral phosphorus fertilizers are being used annually. So if we are able to enhance the recycling, we will be able to reduce the amount of nutrients used in the Finnish agriculture. Here you can see a map with quite good resolution of where the manure phosphorus is, and also it contains already the comparison to the need of phosphorus fertilization. So it is rather easy to see that on the western coastline there are regions with too much manure phosphorus for the same region phosphorus fertilization need. And due to that, we need a lot of nutrient recycling efforts still to be done. On farm scale, the livestock farms should use their manure more precisely. Locally, if they have too much, they should more collaborate with the crop farms and have some of the manure moved to the crop farms use. And then regionally, larger scale manure processing is also needed to reallocate some of the manure phosphorus to the regions in need of phosphorus fertilization. And also in Finland, we need to enhance the processing of the other side streams to improve the recycling. And here you can see on the background, the color says about how much there is potential for nutrient recycling, and then the green dots show how much of recycled fertilizer products at the moment are being produced on the regions. And if you look at, for instance, the phosphorus map, here you can see that there's not that much recycled fertilizer production in some of the areas where there's quite a lot of potential for that. So there is still need to improve the nutrient recycling also in Finland. But about the data, it is important to notice that when we know what the potential for nutrient recycling is, and where we know where the side streams are and what are being done for them at the moment, we can plan more effective measures on how to enhance the actual execution of nutrient recycling. This data is always a bit of in an indicative side. We don't know always the exact amounts everywhere, because the data collection is at the moment really complex. But that is also a reason that we should try and improve the data collection from the actual practitioners on the field. Then about the HELCOM Baltic Sea Action Plan and the Baltic Sea Regional Nutrient Recycling Strategy, which were just recently updated, or the Baltic Sea Action Plan was updated, and the nutrient recycling strategy was created for the first time. And these are in place just to ensure that the issue of nutrient recycling is also noticed in the Baltic Sea region, and it is taken forward during the coming years as part of the work to improve the state of the sea. So firstly, there are nutrient recycling measures in the Baltic Sea Action Plan under eutrophication. And these 7 measures are sort of general measures promoting nutrient recycling and highlighting their importance. So the main aim is to improve fertilization precision and increase both production and use of safe recycled fertilizer products, and to increase knowledge and cooperation between stakeholders on nutrient recycling as part of the promotion and making this work in the future. The regional nutrient recycling strategy is in place to give more precise information and more precise measures, and also examples of how the nutrient recycling could be done in the Baltic Sea region. The vision of the strategy is that nutrients are managed sustainably in all HELCOM countries, securing the productivity of agriculture and minimizing nutrient loss to the Baltic Sea environment through efficient use of nutrients and cost-effective nutrient recycling, The strategy contains 6 objectives with different number of sub-objectives listing the actual aims in more precision. And then there are examples of measures with which these objectives can be achieved. And the list is not meant to be like exhaustive, that there can be other measures as well, and there can be new ones that are identified. And also there are several of these examples so that the different countries can take the national differences into account and find the ones that work for them the best. I will go through shortly these objectives, and they sort of make a framework around what kind of things need to be considered in nutrient recycling. So the first objective is to make Baltic Sea region a model area for nutrient recycling by increasing nutrient use efficiency and the circulation of the nutrients, and reducing the inflows to the sea or to the region, and then trying to get the surplus nutrients from the surplus regions to the places where the nutrients are needed. Then the second objective is reducing the environmental impacts. So important to reduce nutrient losses both to the sea, but also to the atmosphere as greenhouse gases or ammonia, and use the processing and other recycling measures to prevent contamination of the environment and soil. Third objective is about the safety. So we need to make sure that there's no contamination happening through nutrient recycling. And we need to know about the research and how to minimize the risks. Then the fourth objective is about knowledge exchange and awareness raising. So this nutrient recycling issue may not be known to everyone yet as a whole, and certainly not the details of it. There are various ways of how to handle it and make it happen. So as facilitating knowledge exchange and just raising awareness of the importance are really important to promote and enhance nutrient recycling. The creating business opportunities objective is really important because it really comes down to creating a new market for these recycled fertilizer products from the side streams. It requires a lot of business development and also changes in the way that fertilizers are being used at the farms. So it's important to make it economically viable. And as the last objective, improving policy coherence, is also important to make such policies that are effective in enhancing the safe, manageable, cost-efficient nutrient recycling in the region. And these 6 objectives are really the main things that need to be understood about nutrient recycling in any region, and how to actually make them happen depends on the country and its situation with nutrient use and the potential for recycling. So the strategy is really focused on the most important issues. And with that, I thank you for this opportunity to present sort of the state of the art in the area, and yeah, hopefully maybe some questions later on. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Sari. That was really interesting. We can maybe take one question now if there is something. Otherwise, we will have a round of questions a bit later. nobody takes the opportunity. So next one, we will have about Finnish experiences about the national programs for funding nutrient recycling innovations. Petri and Sanna from Ministry of Environment and Ministry of the Agriculture and Forestry of Finland will be sharing information. Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot, Elsie, for introducing us, and I will now share the screen, and please
yeah, it's good.
Say if it's all right. I'll find my screens here. So yeah, Sari had a great info package on the topic, and we will now continue about the Finnish instruments to promote and foster the nutrient recycling in practice. And as Elsie said in the intro, it's hard to say when these activities really started, but so we have now 12 plus years here. That's how long we've had the existing programs ongoing. And this presentation only deals about the activities of the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry and Ministry of the Environment, and other ministries have also had their own programs promoting this nutrient recycling over the years. But now we'll focus on these two that we are representing. I'm Petri Nissinen from the Ministry of the Environment of Finland, and I work on in the Ahti program, which supports nutrient recycling, RDI, and investment projects. And Sanna, please.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. Also, my name is Sanna Tikander, and I work as a senior specialist at Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry of Finland. I work especially with the circular economy issues of nutrients and water protection issues. We can start our presentation, and please take the next slide, please. Well, here in 2010, the Finnish government highlighted Finland as a model country for nutrient recycling, and we started preparing programs to support this goal. Of course, there has been a lot of work had been done before, but in our presentation today, we take that year as a starting point. And over the years, there has been two main programs. The first national program was the Ministry of Environment's program for nutrient recycling and water protection. Those lower blue boxes in the slide, and Petri will told you later about those programs and measures more. In Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, we have had experiment program for nutrient recycling since 2016 or 2014. And before that, we had a large communication program called Agricultural Nutrients for Utilization. And from this year, we have started a new operating aid for biogas plants for nutrient recycling. International legislations, agreements, and strategies provide the basis for operations, and these national programs complement them if necessary. Our programs have, of course, evolved over time, and they have been affected by and responded to international priorities and crises. At the beginning, nutrient recycling was emphasized from the environmental perspective, and since 2020, the self-sufficiency and security of supply aspects of nutrients recycling have been increasingly highlighted. In Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, we approach the issue from the point of view of sustainable food production and Ministry of Environment, of course, from environmental perspective. The final objective is, however, the same and common, and we work very closely together on this issue. And now we will briefly tell you more about our programs. Would you please, Petri?
Yeah,
tell.
thanks. So,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, about nutrient recycling program first. So, as Anna said, it started in 2012, and it kind of officially ended last year, but not to worry, because the measures will be continued in the new Ahti program, which was initiated this year. Secondly, we have the gypsum treatment or gypsum amendment in the fields, which was intensively researched already since 2008 at least. And since 2020, we've had a large-scale gypsum treatment on the Baltic Sea coastal areas. And the current project will continue until 2025. And then thirdly, we have the program for enhanced water protection, which was initiated last government period. And it will be also continued as the new Ahti program. And I will briefly tell you a little bit more about these three programs. So firstly, the nutrient recycling program, it is really a long-term commitment on nutrient recycling already over 3 government periods. And there's been available funding for research, development, and innovation projects, as well as investments in the past years. There have been feasibility studies, research projects, communication projects for awareness raising, and also for technology development and investment projects. And in total, we have funded already 175 projects with close to 70 million euro funding in total. And on top of that comes the own funding from the project implementers. And as from the graph on the bottom right, you see that during the last government period, we have had much bigger funding available, and we have had the focus on investments also, whereas the RDI projects have been quite stable over the years. And so what have we actually achieved? There are visible results, especially in the awareness, knowledge, and skills related to nutrient recycling. We have also developed new technologies. You might have heard about NP harvest or Ravita or NDEV incineration process. These all we have funded during the years. And we have also been able to initiate full-scale implementation projects and pioneer investments, such as Gasum's nitrogen recovery technology, which is shown actually in the photo in the background. And in the future, as said, the measures will be continued in the Ahti program. However, we will have lower funding in the coming years, and thus we will have more targeted actions to do the most impactful measures, and also do the monitoring of the impact. Okay, then about the gypsum amendment, which I wanted to highlight as a specific concrete water protection measure, which is also quite cost efficient. And it works on clay fields which do not have lake as the receiving body. It improves the particle composition of the soil, making less particulate phosphorus released to the water. And you can see on the photo, maybe I can show you with the this one. So on the left, there is water filtrated through soil without gypsum, and on the right, that's water filtrated through soil with gypsum. So the result is quite visible. Obviously, this is just for kind of to show the effect in this way, but we have had intensive research on this topic, and typically 30 to 50% decrease can be achieved in the particulate phosphorus runoff. And the effect is quite immediate, and it lasts for 4 to 5 years. And if we were able to treat all the suitable fields, the maximum potential in Finland would be to reduce up to 14% of all agricultural phosphorus load, which is quite remarkable for just one action. And currently we have this KIPSI project, whose aim is to treat 100,000 hectares of fields by 2025. And at the moment we are at 64,000 hectares. And it has been calculated that by end of last year, we had been able to decrease the phosphorus ending up to the sea by 77 tons, and there will be more impact in the coming years. At the moment, the treatment is free for the farmers, so we are funding this through national and EU funds. And at the if you calculate the effect to the P runoff compared to many other means, it's quite cost effective. And therefore, we want to secure the funding for this in the long term, and as we see one suitable and cost effective method for protecting the sea. And we also support piloting and research on other soil amendments, such as fibers and structural lime, and their combined use. And hopefully we'll be able to use those in the future as well. Okay, and then finally, the water protection measures. Previous government focused significantly in these measures, and this new program was started. And there is funding for activities, concrete actions in the waters, as well as research and stakeholder involvement. We are focusing in the catchment areas, so we want to decrease the nutrient runoff from the source. But also there is restoration projects for measures in the water bodies itself. And thirdly, there is the aim is to decrease the harmful substance emissions from urban environments and also shipwrecks, and then also to protect the groundwater from the harmful substances. And there you can see some numerical results from 2019 to 2023, and I'm sure we'll have more impact in the coming years. I want to highlight just the stakeholder engagement, which is very important in this kind of actions. And this has been done by initiating different networking activities as well as platforms for collaboration. And in the future, as you see, we do have significantly smaller funding for the ongoing government period. However, we will continue these activities in a more focused manner, and again emphasize the most impactful measures and also measuring the impact. And this government period, we will have a special focus on the archipelago sea, which actually Sanna will tell you more about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Petri. And I think many of you know the archipelago sea. The sea is strongly, I lost my mouse. Wait a minute now. Okay, the sea is strongly eutrophic, and the non-point source pollution from agriculture in the archipelago sea catchment area is the HELCOM's last hotspot in Finland. And that's why Finland has invested in water protection measures in the archipelago sea and its catchment area for several years. In current government program, archipelago sea is again a focus area the aim of the Archipelagos Sea program is to reduce loading costs by agriculture in such a way that area can be removed from the list of HELCOM hotspots by 27. And the program is a joint program of 4 ministries: Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, and Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment, and Ministry of Transport and Communications. But the cooperation with all sectors, especially private companies in the food sector, are essential. I think that this program is a good example of extensive cooperation between all administrative sectors and all actors in the field. In the next presentation, Essi will tell you more about the program. So I think it's not more. It's not necessary to tell more about the program at this point, but we can return to this matter if it's necessary. So next slide, please. Yeah, thank you, Petri. The nutrient recycling program of our Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry has supported nutrient recycling experiments and investments around Finland. The aim of our program is to improve the security and supply, improve the security of supply and sustainability of food production. And our program is a trial program that has encouraged new openings, research, cooperations, but also production scale investments in the fields of nutrient recycling and also carbon sequestration. The aim has been to encourage actors to develop new activities, and on the other hand, to increase the volume of existing activities also. At the time when the program was launched, small and medium-sized enterprises in particular have had fewer support opportunities than others. So our program support is mainly intended to SMEs, but in some cases, large companies and other organizations have also been able to apply for support. Since 2020, about 9 million euros has been allocated to 65 R&D projects and over 11 million euros to 9 production scale investments. Most projects focused on producing recyclable fertilizing products or soil improvers from biomasses. But the aim of the program has also been to promote logistics and service solution for nutrient recycling. But fewer project proposals have been submitted to them. So I encourage you all taking a closer look at this almost forgotten part of nutrient recycling and to think, is there any new findings or new solutions to logistic challenges to find new solutions there. From 2024 onwards, the focus in our program will be on supporting investments, but we have less funding available, unfortunately. And the next program I would like to introduce is quite new. Please, Petri, you can, if you can show the next slide. Thank you. This new kind of state aid for promotion of ecological recycling. The aid is based on results and performance, not on cost as usual we have used to. The aid is granted based on eligible phosphorus kilograms received and processed into recycled fertilizers in biogas plants. And it's granted through auction or bidding process where each biogas operator submits a bid. And these bids are ranked from lowest to highest until the allocated budget is used up. The first auction was organized this year, and aid is granted for 3 years now, ending in 2026. It has been estimated that in this round, with a subsidy of 5.3 million euros, around 500,000 kilograms of phosphorus will be recycled by the end of 2026. The preparation of this kind of aid has been quite slow due to a lack of suitable base in the state of aid rules. In the next few years, we will see how it goes and how the support system should be further developed. And the possibility of creating a similar but technology neutral aid scheme for other nutrient recycling plants is currently also being investigated. So I think there will be plenty of work in the future too. If you want to more about this support system and about this program, I think we have an expert in the audience who can answer. She is one who prepared this state aid program these almost 4 years we have now used on this program. But we can ask questions later if necessary. And next slide, please.
Okay, maybe then it's time to summarize our presentation and our experience in these programs. So basically, actions are necessary among many different actors. We have to engage the companies and the landowners in the regional level, but also the actors on the national level. And long-term results obviously require commitment and continuation in these activities. And we are really happy that the Finnish governments with various parties have supported this work in the past. We have organized these actions in a number of different programs, but with a specific focus on collaboration and coordination between them to ensure the impacts and effectiveness. And we can already see good results of this work, but still it is necessary to continue these efforts and to also to find new ways to achieve even greater impact and to generate sustainable and lasting difference and change in the nutrient recycling and in the nutrient recycling market as well. Do you have anything to add, Sanna?
No, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's all for us, and we are falling a little bit behind the schedule, but if there are any questions, we're happy to answer. Thank you.
So if somebody has a question for now, we can have maybe one or two. Vera, go ahead.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everybody, and thanks for these two presentations. I think it's very impressive to see what is happening in Finland. My question would be, you demonstrated quite convincingly how much effort you put into this with the programs and the funding and the communication. Are you now seeing any viable solutions on the ground developing that are self-sustaining and basically, so to say, economically viable, or do they need continued support? I mean, I'm not an agricultural person, so I'm not working a lot with nutrient recycling, but isn't the issue still that there's all this cheap mineral fertilizer on the market? So what do you see in Finland? How's the development going on? Because you also said you have less money available now. are these solutions, do they need continued promotion and financing, or can they sustain themselves? And if so, how do they do that? Thank you.
Do you want to start, Sanna?
Yeah, no. If you
Okay,
have
yeah,
ideas.
yeah. For my part, I think that we still need promotion. We still need support, but I think at the same time we are trying to find new ways and more impactful ways to first of all to promote them. So we are looking for impact-based funding mechanisms, as well as, of course, we have to think about other measures, about the kind of look at the legislation as well, maybe some sort of financial little bit of financial push, maybe taxation and other things, but these are of course long processes, and at the moment we don't have like very we haven't taken big steps so far, but of course it's a combination of both the kind of support and then also the regulation.
So to me, sounds it's not yet self-sustaining, but with further measures, maybe in the future it can become. Is it like that, or?
There are some technologies that are looking quite promising. Like I mentioned, Gasum's nitrogen recovery process. We have been funding one project, but we've heard that they are also preparing another investment in similar technology, and why it's profitable is that they don't need to pay for the nitrogen load to the wastewater treatment plant, and plus they get paid for the ammonia water, which is directed to the energy industry as a flue gas treatment chemical, and that's one example of how it could become profitable. Of course, it's not to agriculture in this case, but still we are able to replace fossil nitrogen there.
Okay. Pekka, maybe, and then we move forward to the next presentation.
Yes, thank you. I'm working for the Southwest Finland Regional Administration as a strategy manager, and just a brief comment for maybe all of the morning's presentations. It was these examples which we heard are based on Finnish governmental program, which says that we will make the drainage basin of the archipelago sea a model area for nutrient recycling. And now we heard also that HELCOM has the regional nutrient recycling strategy, which has as a vision to make the region a model area. And it begins to be a little bit frustrating that it's somehow I feel that this nice talks about nutrient recycling, using the recycled nutrients goes separately from the talks about common agricultural policy. And as far as they go separately, change will not take place. So now that we have these nice strategies and aims to close the nutrient cycle, and not only the nutrient cycle, but also we should make other big change, which is changing the cultivation method so that it is not losing the carbon from the ground, but actually sequestrating the carbon into the soil. So these two changes together with the profitability talks. So agriculture must be profitable for the entrepreneur. So these three things we should take together to the tables where they discuss, or we discuss, about the common agricultural policy of EU. The preparation of the next CAP season is now starting, and these should be the main topics on the table. So I hope that these two discussions will find each other, and we will not in the future discuss separately about these nice talks about nutrient recycling. Thank you.
And thank you, Pekka, for your opinion and important message. It's very important, but the situation, the aspect is very complex, and it's not a simple answer how to answer that question. But thank you for your message.
I wanted to just mention that EU is also has had at least some kind of a nutrient recycling paper in preparation, but now is dependent on what the new Commission wants to do and if it goes forward or not. But that would be nice to get it from them. Yeah, next presentation about the hotspot area in Finland. Essi.
Thank you, Elsi. And good morning for everyone. My name is Essi Hilgren. I'm from the ELY Center of the Southwest Finland. And yeah, I'm coordinating the program of the Archipelago Sea. You have already heard about it, a little bit about it. And yes, we have a challenge in nutrient recycling here in the area, which is the HELCOM hotspot area. And yeah, now I have 10 minutes, so I need to take a sprint through the program. And so do not hesitate to contact me later on if you want to hear more about the details and discuss more. Now I start to share the presentation. Let's see how it goes. Can you see it now?
Yes, go ahead.
Good, good. Thank you. So as it already mentioned, the catchment area of the Archipelago Sea, it's the pilot area now here. You can see from the map where we are working, which part of the Finland. And yeah, it's the agricultural runoff of the Archipelago Sea is the Finland's last remaining HELCOM hotspot. And what is the aim of the program is to reduce the diffuse pollution in the Archipelago Sea catchment area, and of course this remove the area from the HELCOM hotspot list. But of course, in long run, our aim is to get the good status of water in the Archipelago Sea. So yeah, a little bit about the background. So this program launched in 2021 during the previous governmental period, and the first step was this Archipelago Sea hotspot roadmap project. And the aim was to find the way and measures to remove the catchment area from the HELCOM hotspot list. And the main result from this phase was this roadmap of water protection in agriculture. And what we are now doing in this second step, ongoing step, so we are implementing this roadmap. And the aim is to implement these most efficient measures and resolve the bottlenecks identified in the roadmap of the water protection in agriculture. And of course, to improve the nutrient recycling at the area. And based on the governmental program, so actions we are concentrating now here in the area is circulation of the nutrient of animal origin, improving the retention capacity and growth condition of soil, and removing nutrient from the waters. So yeah, this means that we have a political will here, and yeah, we have listed actions in our roadmap. And also, as we already heard from the previous presentations, we have resources to enhance and support the actions here for the project work. And now I'll tell you a little bit more about how to implement the program and also what kind of challenges we are heading and what we are trying to do here in the area. So the implementation about the program, so you can see here the whole catchment area where we are working, but now the strategy is to focus in 3 pilot areas, and the purpose is to target the large number of measures as intensive as possible in the smaller geographical area. So we want to, at least we try to make a visible about the results from the work now when we are concentrating the small area. And we would want to achieve the visible changes in the soil, in the state of waters, and efficiency of the implementation of the measures. And also we try to get more monitored about the work and the effectiveness of the joint use of different measures based on the catchment-based planning. And here you can see the main topics in our program. So we are concentrating about the environmental measures financed from CAP, and we are promoting and add the use of soil conditioners. We are concentrating about the nutrient recycling and transfer, water restoration projects, company cooperation, and increase the know-how and enhance advising services here at the area. And next, I will tell you a few examples about our challenges we are working with. So first example is this circulation of nutrient of animal origin. So this is the greatest recycling potential in agriculture, the manure nutrients. Yeah, and Sari already told you more about this. But now this is kind of like a zooming about a more local perspective. So our challenge is how to spread the manure more evenly inside the catchment area and beyond. So the livestock intensity is high in certain areas, also here in our area, and the phosphorus is stored in the soil in certain areas and lacking in the others. So from the map, you can see that those red areas, there is more phosphorus in the soil than it's needed. And then in the green areas, there is maybe less than it's needed. And also the livestock farms is located unevenly here. So in the red area, there is more animals than in green areas. And the challenge here is now that manure processing in the fertilizer is not at least yet profitable, as far as I know. I know Sari already told you more about this and knows more about this. But I think that the product must be as good or even better than the mineral fertilizer in terms of properties. So the price quality ratio must be good from the farmer's point of view. So then we can maybe solve this problem. Also, the transportation costs are, especially when you're transporting sludge, is high. So that's also the challenge here. And the problem is then that the manure is utilized quite close of its origin, so the risk of over-fertilization grows here in our area. So we need to find a cost-effective way to process the manure in the fertilizer and transfer manure out from our area of its origin. But also we need to increase the interest in use of organic fertilizer instead of mineral fertilizer here. Then another example, so the improving the retention capacity and growth condition of soil. So to keep the phosphorus in the soil, we need to improve the retention capacity and growth condition of the soil. And our challenge here is that the soil in Archipelago Sea catchment area is largely clay soil. And quite often the challenge is compacted soil, which weakens the growth condition and retention capacity. And it leads to that the nutrient flows from the field to the sea. Reasons for this challenge is the poor corporate rotation and heavy machines and bad timing with the measures with the heavy machines. So we need to find a solution for these challenges. So improving the growth condition and water economy of soil requires resources, both time and money. And I mean the measures like a subsurface drains, well-maintained ditches and crump structure of the field. But with the soil conditioner like gypsum, fibers and structural lime can be quickly and effectively decrease the amount of the phosphorus leaching from the fields. So already Petri mentioned about this, our gypsum project. And so yeah, the effects are quick but not long lasting, and that's why we also have to promote other measures at the same time that this gypsum project is ongoing in the area. And also there is this kind of challenge with gypsum because now it's free of charge here in gypsum project, but still we have a little bit problems to get it to the fields. So in this map, you can see that in this dark green area, which is pointed here, you can see the area where we already have a gypsum in the field. And then there is this light green, hopefully you can see it. So that's the area where it could be spread. But now we are still lacking these areas. So gypsum is free of charge for the farmers. So what else can we do? Because there is still a lot of a lot of hectares to spread the gypsum in the area. About removing nutrients from the water, yeah, there is measures for that as well, which also Petri mentioned about this restoration projects, for example. But the challenge is that removing nutrients from the water is not effective enough if we are not at the same time decreasing the amount of the nutrient leaching from the catchment area. And I think the what is happening in the fields is the very crucial thing to solve. Then, of course, we need to increase the know-how and enhance advising services at the area. And I think the challenge is that we need to find a way to ensure existing knowledge and know-how to find a way to the concrete actions. And that's why we are concentrating about the grassroots level. So we are encouraging the farmers to use existing advisory services and also encouraging farmers to implement environmental measures financed from the CAP, and of course providing seminars, training and materials related to these topics, but also it's important that the results are going to be presented understandable and accessible form and place for the farmers. And about the summarize, so we have here that political will, we have resources for the project work, but many effective measures are voluntary for the farmers. So in case we want to really make a significant change here in the area, we need to force to take certain actions. So of course it means also changes in politics. Maybe we should offer some compensation. Farmers might be balancing between profitability and measures they should be taken here. So maybe we have to negotiate about these things. We should calculate and demonstrate the financial benefit for the farmers. And now and in the future, we have to take account how the climate change is changing the situation here. Of course, we have to cut the rumors and misinformation related to water protection measures and increase farmers' trust to do the cooperation and development work with us. And of course, find a way to motivate the farmers to do the work here, because it seems that of course we are asking all the time more and more, and we have to do more, but we have to find a way to activate and motivate them and do this together. And maybe I have more questions than answers. So yeah, we have our forerunners here, but now we are trying to make this mainstream. So how to motivate the farmers and how to ensure enough resources at the area, because as you heard, we have a project instruments to do funding instruments to do the project, but we have no earmarked funding for the Archipelago Sea program. And water protection is based on the project work, which makes it kind of short-term. And the challenge is to get the concrete and effective activities done. So how to ensure long-term continuation at the area. And also public money is for the public benefits. So how to motivate if the benefit needs to be non-profitable for the farmers or for the public good. And I think we are lacking the chain from the research to the concrete activities in the field. So how to make sure that the research results find a way to the concrete actions. But yeah, now we are starting the concrete work here at the area, and hopefully maybe next year this time I have more answers than questions for you. But yeah, I'm happy to hear if you are facing the same kind of challenges in your area, or if you have good advices for us, or if there is something crucial we haven't given attention enough. So I'm happy to hear and discuss more. And here you can see my contact information in case you want to continue discussion about the topic. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So if somebody has a question, we can take now maybe one or two also, like before. Nobody's raising their hand at least. Yeah. So would be really interested to hear from the others. There are agricultural hotspots around the Baltic Sea, and how the nutrient recycling has been addressed in those hotspots, or has it been addressed? Vera, go ahead.
Thank you. I cannot contribute to your question beyond my expertise. I have a quick question on this gypsum liming. Where do you take the gypsum from? I assume it's not produced in the industry, because that is, of course, something due to climate change issues. It takes a lot of energy. So where do you source it, and how can you ensure that it is quite pure and not containing any toxic substances? Thank you.
Thank you. Now, yeah, I'm not running the gypsum project, so I not, maybe Ida is here and Pekka is here, but as far as I know, it's coming from the Yara, but it's kind of like a research that there isn't any harmful substances, and it's not produced. It's the
Side stream.
Yes, from the fertilizer production. So, but that's also the challenge, because for the farmers, that's one reason why at least they say that they won't want to take it, because they think it's the Yara's waste. So that's the one challenge we are facing here, and there is kind of like a rumors around that. So we are trying to cut those off.
I wanted to add that it's from a specific fertilizer production in near Kuopio, so it's cleaner in some sense than from many others, as I understand. It has been quite well researched, as I think. But yeah, if Petri or Sanna want to add something more about the source, or maybe not, we can continue with the program. Thanks, Essi.
Thank you.
So we have heard about the Finnish programs and experiences. What has been done mainly with Finnish national funds, and now we will have project presentations that are EU funded. Two first projects are Horizon projects, and then we have BioBoosters that is funded by Interreg Baltic Sea Region, and after the launch we still have two more projects. Synergy is also Interreg Baltic Sea Region funded, and sustainable silage from Interreg Central Baltic. So if the people want to have a short bio break now before the next presentation, let me know, or we continue. We can continue if nobody is against it. So Kari Ylivainio, if he's present here, discuss Lex for Bio.
Yes, good morning. I will share my screen. Are you able to see my presentation?
Yeah, if you put it to presentation mode, better.
Yes, I'm trying. Okay.
Good, thank you.
Okay. So good morning to everyone. My name is Kari Ylivainio. I come from Luke, and I will present now some results from Lex for Bio project that I'm coordinating. It's dealing with bio-based fertilizers or recycled fertilizers, but in this project we call them as a bio-based fertilizers. So the whole name of the project is Optimizing Bio-based Fertilizers in Agriculture, providing a knowledge basis for new policies. So this project started in June 2019, and it's now ended end of May. So we are at the moment in a phase where we are reporting the last reporting period for the Commission. So it's not yet finally ended yet, but hopefully soon. So in this consortium, we had a total of 20 partners from 14 countries, and from the map you can see where the partners originated. So we had a quite nice coverage of whole Europe. So my content of my presentation, I will go through about the available raw materials for producing bio-based fertilizers, then how we selected these different fertilizers for our project. Then I will show the results from the agronomic efficiency of both phosphorus and nitrogen fertilizers, potential environmental losses, and then this organic contaminant that potentially exists in these materials, and then this dissemination of antimicrobial resistance genes caused by these fertilizers, and then the conclusion. So Sari already presented some of these, what I'm going to present now. So we first started by evaluating the availability of these different nutrient-rich side streams that can be used for producing these recycled fertilizers. And for that, we used Eurostat statistics and literature. And this figure here shows that the manure is, like Sari said, the main source for these recycled nutrients. And in Lex4Bio, we focused mainly on nitrogen and phosphorus, because those are the two main nutrients in agriculture. So the manure, for example, this figure here shows that if we consider nitrogen sources, manure can compromise more than 80% of nitrogen in almost all of these countries. So there's still some from plant biomass, as well as then sewage sludge, and as well as municipal bio-waste. Of course, the problem is that these sources, they are not evenly distributed across Europe. And as this figure here shows, that especially in some regions, we have very high so-called hotspot regions, where we have more nutrients that it is needed for optimal fertilization. And especially in Belgium and Netherlands region, there is this manure-based phosphorus is more than 50 kilos per hectare. And of course, the nitrogen follows the same trend as this phosphorus. Then when we started the project, we discussed how we should select these fertilizers to be tested. So in Lex4Bio, the focus was those bio-based fertilizers that were already on the market or near commercialization. So we did not start to develop any new fertilizers, but we tested those that already existed. So we end up of having a total of about 80 bio-based fertilizers, roughly 40 nitrogen and 40 phosphorus-based fertilizers. And the selection was based to cover as good as possible these different CMC and BFC categories as stated in this new fertilizing products regulation. So this ensured that we had different types of materials, manures, sewage sludges, bio-wastes, and then also different technologies for producing these fertilizers from these materials, from different like digesting, composting, thermal treatments, precipitation, etc. So this after we collected all these fertilizers, we tested these the same batch of these fertilizers in field, greenhouse, and laboratory trials. For example, in field trials, we sent these materials to Spain, France, Austria, Hungary, Denmark, Germany, and Finland. So because we had both N and P field trials we use the same batch in each of these countries, so we could we could compare how these fertilizers behave in different climatic and soil conditions. So here are some figures from those both greenhouse and field trials that we conducted. So these phosphorus-based fertilizers, they were tested both in greenhouse, we did pot trials, and then in field trials. And here are the results from the greenhouse trials. In these pot trials, we tested total of 30 different bio-based fertilizers. And this figure shows the agronomic mineral replacement values of these different fertilizers. So this dashed line represents the 100%, which means that it's the equal to mineral phosphorus fertilizer. In our case, we used triple superphosphate, which is a common mineral fertilizer, and we compared the efficiency of these bio-based fertilizers to this reference fertilizer. And then we analyzed these fertilizers based on the phosphorus species that they contained. For example, struvite, which is magnesium ammonium phosphate, was as good phosphorus source as this TSP, our reference fertilizer. And basically all these soluble inorganic bio-based fertilizers were equal to TSP, like the monoammonium phosphate, monocalcium phosphate, and dicalcium phosphates, which are inorganic fertilizers, so they were as good as TSP. But then thermochemical treatment, it most often reduced the agronomic efficiency of the bio-based fertilizer. For example, incineration of poultry manure or sewage sludge, it reduces its efficiency. And out of the sewage sludges, especially those, if you are using iron chemicals for phosphorus precipitation, it will also reduce the agronomic efficiency. And also these apatite-based BPFs, especially one where was basically a plant-based material, but it was like this apatite was used to increase the phosphorus content of the fertilizer, but then this material was quite poor from the agronomic performance point of view. And these pot trials, they were conducted in 3 different locations in Finland, Austria, and Switzerland. And each of these places we use, like I said, exactly the same phosphorus sources. But of course, we had to test these materials also on a field scale. But of course, we couldn't select as much or as many fertilizers as in greenhouse. So in field trials, we had 8 different fertilizers. The results were, of course, much more variable at the field scale as compared to greenhouse trials. None of these tested fertilizers differ significantly from TSP, from the grain yield or phosphorus uptake point of view. And there wasn't any consistent effect of soil or climatic conditions on the fertilizing efficiency. But again, on a field trials, struvite, dicalcium phosphate, and then this phytate dominated bio-based fertilizers perform best. So this phytate-based fertilizer was a plant-based material that was fermented, so it performed as good as this TSP at a field scale. But on a field scale as well, this tricalcium phosphate, meaning these like ashes and fertilizers containing apatite, were the least efficient. But most of these recycled fertilizers, they have a potential to replace these conventional inorganic phosphorus fertilizers across a range of European soils and climate. These nitrogen fertilizers, they were also tested in 5 different locations in Europe, and both of these phosphorus and nitrogen trials, they lasted for 2 years. And across sites and years, this average nitrogen fertilizer replacement value was 75% for these bio-based fertilizers. It means that as compared to mineral nitrogen fertilizer, these bio-based fertilizers, they increase the nitrogen uptake, or the nitrogen uptake was 71% as compared to this mineral nitrogen fertilizer. But there was a quite great variation across sites and years between these fertilizers. But in general, there were no significant differences in yields compared to mineral nitrogen fertilizer applied at the same total nitrogen level. I have to bear in mind that in these nitrogen trials, we applied these fertilizers based on total nitrogen concentration. So we did not spread them based on soluble but total N level. And in some cases, in some places, these fertilizers were either incorporated or mixed with the soil surface, or then broadcasted at top of the soil surface. And the fertilizer efficiency was better if the fertilizers were incorporated in soil. And in this figure, you can see the yield differences between sites. So we had the field trial started in 2021, followed also year 2022. In year 21 in Finland, we had such a bad drought that we couldn't get any yield. So that's the reason why there is no yield data for year 21 for Finland. So these, like for example, if you want to look at this figure, like France, which is this green bar, and then this line here, this green line, represent the yield obtained from the mineral fertilizer treatment. So as you can see, the yields are more or less the same, whether we used bio-based fertilizers or these mineral nitrogen fertilizers. Then we continued the trial, and we also wanted to test whether there is any residual effect of these recycled fertilizers. In a second year, we could observe some residual effect, but it was not higher than that was observed with these mineral nitrogen references. But overall, these nitrogen fertilizers, they are also a good substitutes for mineral nitrogen fertilizers. Then we evaluated environmental losses from these fertilizers. In case of phosphorus, we did this rainfall simulation, where we mix different bio-based fertilizers with different soils. We had soils from Finland, Germany, and Spain. And the soils were selected so that they need to have, let's say, such a phosphorus status that requires some phosphorus application. Unlike in pot trials, where we wanted to have very phosphorus deficient soil, here we wanted to have such a soil that would receive P application in each of these countries. So in this study, we incubated these bio-based fertilizers with soils for 3 weeks. And after that, we conducted a rainfall simulation. Setup was like on these figures here. And here we have had 11 different bio-based fertilizers, both organic and inorganic fertilizers. And solubility of phosphorus varied quite a lot between fertilizers. Some of them contained quite high amount of water-soluble phosphorus, and especially this BA1, which is this plant-based fertilizer. It also contained a high share of organic phosphorus. But many of these inorganic fertilizers, phosphorus was mainly in a very low soluble form, mainly in soluble only in acid, and water extractable phosphorus content was only a few percent. As compared to this mineral phosphorus reference, which was again this TSP, which contained 96% of water soluble phosphorus out of total P. So we conducted the rainfall simulation at the intensity of 5 millimeters per hour, and we collected the leachate, and we analyzed the pH, electrical conductivity, turbidity, and NP and C concentration. And here is also the figure of these leachate, so there were quite a variation in a color of the water that leads through these soil profiles during this rainfall simulation. And results were also, I would say, quite surprising. Here on the left-hand side, we have a control treatment. It's soils that didn't receive any P application. And on the right side, we have a TSP treatment which received this mineral phosphorus fertilizer. And in each of these cases, we applied exactly the same amount of total phosphorus. So we applied the same amount of phosphorus, so the results are very comparable. In case of this soil from Germany, I have to also point out that this soil from Finland had a pH of 5.7. The Spanish soil was calcareous soil, pH 8.1. And then this soil from Germany, it was a little above neutral, so the pH was 7.4. So these chemical properties of these soils varied, let's say, in a range that we can find in Europe. In this German soil, TSP caused far highest DRP concentration in the leachate, and its DRP is dissolved reactive phosphorus, so it means this soluble phosphorus, which is immediately available for algae growth. In this soil from Finland and Spain, all except this CPS, which is composted big slurry, and DCP cause equal level of DRP losses as compared to TSP, but the rest of the fertilizers, they caused significantly lower phosphorus losses. And the lowest DRP losses was caused by these ash-based product like a poultry litter ash, or this EPH, which is a sunflower husk ash product. And then some of these great variation exist among these organic fertilizers. Some of them cause very low phosphorus losses, whereas others caused much higher. So in order to minimize phosphorus losses after using these recycled fertilizers, properties of both the fertilizers and soil needs to be known in order to, let's say, use site-specific fertilizers in order to reduce phosphorus losses. Then we analyzed, estimated the potential ammonia volatilization from these different fertilizers. And as you can see from this figure, there is a huge variation of this ammonia volatilization depending on ppf. So don't mind about what kind of these acronyms are here, just to show that they exist. There's a great variation about ammonia losses. So it can be from 0 up to 64% of the applied total nitrogen content. And the highest ammonia losses took place from digestate, from manure and crop-based digestates, followed by animal and food byproducts, and lowest losses occurred from mineral concentrates and compost. Also, the shape of this volatilization varied. From the digestate, these rapid ammonia losses started immediately after adding to soil, whereas many of these bio-based fertilizers, they also delayed before these ammonia losses started, especially among these pelletized animal and food industry byproducts. But considering these characteristics, like chemical characteristics of these ppf, they explained 89% of the variation of this volatilization. Here again, the main point is the importance of incorporation of ppfs in soil in order to reduce ammonia losses. Here we tested ammonia losses both on pure sand and in soil. And generally much lower ammonia losses took place on soil, and this is probably due to the ammonia adsorption on soil particles. But when we are incorporating bio-based fertilizers in the soil, this ammonia volatilization can be decreased up to 96%. And on these figures, the lowest line represent this incorporating of these ppfs. So it has a great impact on reducing ammonia losses. Then organic contaminants, which is, I suppose, one of the main concerns related to use of these recycled fertilizers. So here we analyzed these different persistent organic pollutants, and they were analyzed from 19 bio-based fertilizers. And at the EU level, there is no limit values for these pollutants set by the EU regulation. So when we did assessment of these fertilizers, we used the strictest values used in individual EU countries. And all these measured values, except in one bio-based fertilizers, these concentration were below the limit values. And only fertilizers that exceeded this value was pyrolyzed sewage sludge. But within fertilizers, there were significant differences in concentration of these contaminants. Then we also analyzed pesticides and pharmaceuticals from 15 different fertilizers. And most of these bio-based fertilizers contained at least one pesticide or pharmaceutical, and the concentrations were up to 181 nanogram per gram of fertilizer. But I have to point out that, of course, these concentrations are quite low, because with the analytical equipment that we are using nowadays, we can analyze very low concentration. So I have to point out that 1 gram is 1 billion nanograms. So remember that when you consider these concentrations. And most of these concentrations, they were below limit of determination, and some were below limit of quantification, so concentration were really low. Ibuprofen was frequently detected in animal and plant-based fertilizers. But from ash-based products, we could not detect any of these contaminants. Then how do these degrade in soil? This was also studied in two contrasting soil. We had both calcareous and acidic soil before and after bio-based fertilizer application. And like I said earlier, concentration were very low. But then if we add these bio-based fertilizers and they contain these contaminants, the degradation of pharmaceuticals were slightly delayed if they were added as a bio-based fertilizer. But the half-life of ibuprofen was not affected by the BBFs. So whether it was added with or without this bio-based fertilizer, the degradation was as fast. Also, the emerging concerns relate to these antibiotic resistance genes. So we analyzed 80 selected genes related to resistance and transfer. And as you can see, like from ash-based materials, there was no genes found from these materials. Then we had like a poultry manure-based bio-based fertilizers, and they contained most of these antibiotic resistance genes. And one reason can be also that they contain these antibiotic residues, but the risk is similar to manure. Then we had compost and digestates, and they contained resistance against these so-called last resort antibiotics. But these are also found in natural ecosystems, and their source is unknown, so it's quite difficult to assess the risks related to if you are using these fertilizers. Then what happens when we apply these fertilizers in soil? From the field trials, we collected soil samples right after we applied these fertilizers, or then 6 weeks after bio-based fertilizer application. So some fertilizers increased these antibiotic resistance genes in soils, and especially by manure, sewage sludge, and animal-based products. But this concentration of genes mostly returned close to the initial concentration after 6 weeks from the application. And this the conclusion was that bio-based fertilizers in general have a low antimicrobial resistance dissemination potential. And this effect on microbiome diversity, it's often similar to mineral fertilizers, and it's reversible often reversible after 6 weeks. As a conclusion, these both nitrogen and phosphorus fertilizers, they are efficient and can be used as a replacement for mineral fertilizers. And risks for pea losses is generally low from these phosphorus-based fertilizers. But have to mind that we need to know the properties of these fertilizers and soils in order to minimize phosphorus losses. And ammonia losses can be greatly reduced by incorporating these fertilizers after application. Organic contaminants, they were very low in these fertilizers, and the degradation of these pharmaceuticals in soils, they are only slightly delayed by BBFs. And like I said, antimicrobial resistance dissemination potential is generally low with these fertilizers. And if you want to get more deep into these results, all these publications can be found from the Zenodo and the Lexpro Bio community, or then from the Cordis webpage where we add future publications as well, as more of them will come in near future. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have been having the discussion after each presentation, so my original schedule is not really valid anymore, but if we aim to have the lunch break starting past, maybe we will have the questions in the chat or at the end of the event if the speakers are still there. So if you have questions, write in the chat and the speakers can answer them there. So maybe we go forward now with the presentations and have 2 more before the lunch break. 3 source and first, and then bio boosters after that. So Nora Berglund, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Elsie, and thanks for inviting me to give a speech. I will be presenting our treasure project today. I'll firstly tell you a bit about the project itself, and then about the marketplace, which is our sort of quite concrete tool to promote nutrient recycling. So hello everyone, my name is Nora Berglund and I work as a project manager at NTK, which is the Central Union of Agricultural Producers and Forest Owners. And I've been working here with the project for close to 2 years now. So it's a 4-year project funded by the Horizon Europe program. And the goal is to promote systemic change towards the circular economy through regional circular economy pilots. And these pilots include 3 value chains: plastic recycling, EV batteries, and then the 3rd section, bio-based side and waste streams, which we are in charge of here at NTK. And the pilots are implemented in close cooperation with citizens, educational institutions, municipalities, businesses, and expert organizations. So stakeholder engagement is one key aspect in the project. And our main target here is to increase the circulation of these products and materials and increase citizens' awareness about circular economy in the Nordic countries and around the Baltic Sea region. So we are 16 organizations from 6 European countries, and it's VTT from Finland who's coordinating the project. And there are research institutes, cities, municipalities, associations, as well as private companies here included. So one value chain is plastic recycling, and the project aims to develop the recycling of currently unused plastic waste through mechanical and thermochemical processes. And the goal is to find the best operating methods and to create value-producing products from different plastic streams. And it's VTT mainly who's running this. Then I already mentioned EV, electric vehicle batteries, and we're exploring the reuse of these batteries as solar energy storage through 3 pilots. 2 of them are in Norway and 1 is in Finland in Lempäälätalo. And then our work package about bio-based side and waste streams. So we aim to find utilization possibilities for currently unused bio-based side and waste streams. And in particularly, we are focusing on agricultural side streams, and biogas and recycled fertilizers are a key focus as well. And we've developed this digital marketplace for side streams, kiertosuomesta.fi, which is a really concrete tool to promote regional nutrient recycling. And this piloting will be done in Finland, and we aim to replicate it in other European countries as well. And then there's a model which will be produced to improve the understanding of urban and rural resources and their symbiosis for public bodies and small businesses especially. This will be published hopefully next spring. And then we're building local bioeconomy business models and ecosystems in collaboration with municipalities and farmers. And this has mainly focused in Finland. It's our project partner in Pirkanmaa region. There have been 4 municipalities on board where there's been biomass mapping in the municipalities done to consider the potential circular bioeconomy business possibilities to suit these areas. This focus has also been in biogas and recycled fertilizers, and this has been a collaboration between our project, these municipalities, farmers and other stakeholders, and the work is ongoing. And then the last point, policy framework analysis, which has just been published this autumn, or it was in August. And you can find that from our project website from the treasures.eu website. It's under publications there. And here's a QR code to follow our newsletter. And then I'll move on to the marketplace. We know that there's a mismatch between these bio-based resources or resource producers. And we know that there are industry actors also who would love to get local bio-based materials and recycled materials especially. So this is our platform. This is the login page of it, kiertosuomesta.fi. It's owned and by MTK, and it's originally been published in 2019. It perhaps wasn't as suitable then as it could have been, so we applied for this Horizon funding, and now we've been developing the site in the project. It's free to use for everybody, but it does require a business ID, so it's only a business-to-business platform currently. Sorry, there are my cats in the background. And with the marketplace, we want to promote the regional nutrient and material cycles and reduce waste and emissions. And there are several benefits of the marketplace for the users, the economic benefits, the revenue that farmers can get by selling these side streams, and then there's the business diversification possibility from the new income streams. Then there's, of course, in certain cases, it can be a getting rid of waste aspect, sort of a cleaning benefit. Then, of course, by promoting resource efficiency, there's a sustainability promotion. And a really important aspect is the new customers and partners. The marketplace connects several actors, and through this, they can also establish long-term collaborative partnerships with their colleagues or the industry. And this can also be a great way to share knowledge between these actors. And our aim at MTK is to create favorable circumstances for the use of these side streams through the marketplace to create new business opportunities and cooperation. And of course, to promote the market development for these bio-based cider waste streams, which is still in its emerging stages. So I mentioned already that we connect several stakeholders, the primary producers and the food processing industry. Then there's the sort of middle section, organizers and utilizers in the ecosystems, which includes logistics, which is quite a bottleneck, as discussed here today earlier. Biogas plants, different biotech firms and municipalities, the wastewater treatment plants, and green areas from municipalities as well. And then finally, the end users, again, farmers, but also the processing industry producing feed, biochar, circular fertilizers, bedding materials, and soil amendments. So the platform aims to connect the farmers, bio-based businesses, and public actors. And we want to develop the platform continuously, of course, in the project and after that. We started with the marketplace where you can list these biomasses. There can either be made selling listings or then buying listings for the industry perspective, for example, if they want to use these side streams. This spring, we've also published these content pages to include informational articles to the site. Currently, they are mainly in Finnish. There are some in Swedish and in English. And this is how we want to raise awareness of these topics. And we are increasing the number of these articles all the time. And then logistics mentioned already, we aim to add a logistics service to the platform to enable tendering for logistics services. And of course, one day it would be ideal to allow collection from multiple farms to reduce the costs of logistics. And I think something I'd like to highlight here is that communication is really important to both raise awareness about the marketplace, but also about circular economy and nutrient recycling. And this does really require a lot of effort. What we've done in relation to the marketplace is these on-site online events, meetings, workshops, field days, exhibitions. Here you can see our seminar on the top photo, and it's a field day on the bottom. We have several social media channels, newsletters, written articles, website texts, and the last is our Christmas calendar, which we published last Christmas or December. It was a success, and I think this was a really nice way of telling about possibilities in agriculture. So we shared it in social media and presented farmers who promote circular practices in their own farms. And what's next and where are we now? Currently, there are about 20 listings on the site. Unfortunately, we don't know the number of transactions that took place on the platform, as it's only a meeting point and the trading takes off or takes place off-site between the users. And the start has definitely been slow. I think we would have needed a big budget for the marketing of the site, but that's what we are doing now. We're doing that to all stakeholder groups. And currently, for example, we're looking into the industry's procurement channels for these side streams. And we really need everyone on board to promote efficient use of resources. So my message to you all is also that I hope that you disseminate the information about the marketplace in Finland. We've tried to be active, but everyone certainly does not yet know about this. And everyone who's here outside of Finland, we in the project want to support the replication of a similar marketplace, and especially in the Baltic Sea region. So please be in contact to me if you're interested in this. We really know that there is potential in the promotion of nutrient recycling from the perspective of security of supply in terms of nutrients and energy as well. And then we'll, of course, try to advance this local context in the work done with municipalities and all of the tasks in the project in other countries as well. And everything that we do, all of the best practices from the pilots will be stored here in our replication handbook, which has been published now, and it will be more articles will be added until the end of the project, which will be in summer 2026. There's already an article on how to set up a digital marketplace for bio-based side streams. And as mentioned, we are always open for collaboration, so please don't hesitate to contact me. Here's my contact information. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And nice to kind of reach out the hand for further collaboration. That's really good. I hope people will be interested.
Me too.
So let's have the last presentation before the lunch straight now. And it's Anna Aalto from Jyväskylä University of Applied Sciences presenting bioboosters.
Yes, hello, I hope you can hear me.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Just a moment, I'll share the screen and try to keep it quick so that we can get to lunch. And yeah, I will try to lead you to further information, so where to find more information about any interesting details. So I represent the BioBoosters project and also the BioBoosters by YAMK Bioeconomy Business Accelerator. So we are in YAMK University of Applied Sciences in our Institute of Bioeconomy, working together with agritech and bioeconomy startups and leading industry companies to support innovation in the field of smart agriculture especially, but smart bioeconomy also in a more broader sense. And one of our key services in the accelerator is a hackathon model, which we have been transferring across the Baltic Sea region in the BioBoosters, the project. So BioBoosters Boosting Circular Transition project, which is now midway through and funded by the Interact BSR program. So in this project, we are delivering 18 business-driven hackathons that are working to solve circular economy transition challenges for bioeconomy companies. So closing the nutrient loops is a very key thematic for us, and therefore this recycled nutrients and improving the business opportunities in that field is very central, and we are connecting know-how in this team a lot. So via these 18 challenges from companies, we are validating potential innovative solutions for these industry transition challenges, and we are initiating 20 or more RDI and business cooperations internationally across the Baltic Sea region and also on national and regional level. So altogether, our aim is to bring together about 500 specialists across the Baltic Sea region to help solve these challenges. And a little bit further about the concept, how we are working in this project lifetime and also afterwards, is that we really start from these industry challenges with a company as a challenge owner and with the willingness to pay, with the willingness to support the innovation moving further and taking ideas into the markets. So they have a need for these innovations, and they want to work together with the innovative solution provider companies or research teams to take those good ideas into reality. And this gives us the platform where we can deliver these open innovation calls, open calls for solutions, and cooperation needs and promises. And these give the interesting circular bioeconomy growth and business opportunities that draw together international innovation community of specialists from research, from the business side, with a passion to boost sustainable and circular bioeconomy. And the format that brings us together and guides the process is the hackathon. And this is what it looks like. So as mentioned, everything starting from the need of the company, having the open call to attract potential solution providers, selecting the teams to move forward in the hackathon, mentoring the teams, providing them know-how, working together with the challenge provider to come up with the best possible cooperation proposals, and then selecting the cooperation partnerships to move forward. We have 9 partners in the project, so 9 hackathon organizers. All of us now have experience in the process, so feel free to be in contact with any of the partners about potential hackathons or the experiences related to them. So we have all delivered the first hackathons during this project, and now we are working towards the second pilot round. And we have partners from Sweden, Germany, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Finland. The first 9 hackathons, we had a broad range of different circular challenges from bioeconomy companies. One thematic that we can see is valorization of biological side streams. So really closing these nutrient loops from these waste or side streams, or getting a higher added value out of those. So we have worked with ash, green biomass from greenhouses, and different types. I think it was 7 or 9 different side streams from sugar beet biorefinery. So really a large collection of different types of industry side streams. Also, smart logistics, digitalization have been a key thematic for us, and optimizing the sustainable use of bioresources with these smart technologies. Then we have also looked into finding bio-based packaging materials, finding bio-based products, and discovering higher added value products from bioproduction. Altogether 11 cooperations started so far, 5 of them international, and we have worked with 64 teams selected to the hackathons, and almost 300 participants, mentors, experts from the industry, experts from the research, policy, and so forth. And then the teams and the challenge providers have been connected by these hackathons. We really have done well, I would say, with the network communication efforts. We attracted 123 applicants for these 9 hackathons altogether. All of them very promising and serious candidates. We have a LinkedIn community currently at over 1,112, I think is today's number, and this shows this attraction to these practical business cases. And in relation to today's discussion and topic, we are about ready to launch the next round of the hackathons, and the first one out will be Liukas Hackathon related to smart logistics for recycled nutrients, which we are organizing in central Finland with YAMK University of Applied Sciences, together with the transportation company Kuljetus Teraliukas Oy and the Finnish Biocycle and Biogas Association. And of course, the whole BioBoosters network that is helping us out in finding potential solution providers and mentors all across the Baltic Sea region. So if you're interested in hearing more, we have a webinar coming up this Wednesday, and that's where we will explain what are we looking for, the call for innovations, and also there will be interesting information about the biogas vision in Finland and some of the business opportunities connected to that. But since we are all hungry and so forth, I'm not going into all the details, but you will get the link in the chat. Hackathons on the way as well. Skellefteå Kraft in northern Sweden is launching next Monday, and 2 more coming. All of them will be available then via our LinkedIn soon. So you are welcome to follow us there, and of course welcome to be in contact with us directly if interested in finding out more. So thank you.
Thanks a lot. Really interesting that you are tackling the logistics also. That was highlighted as one of the biggest challenges in this field. So thanks for all the speakers. Now we can go for the lunch and come back in 1 hour, more or less. Thank you. And please feel free to ask questions to the speakers in the chat. I will keep the Teams open during the lunch.